Is your siding looking old and outdated? Give your home the makeover it deserves with James Hardie Siding from Thompson Creek, the #1 brand in America. Thompson Creek, powered by James Hardie, offers endless design possibilities with vivid colors and unique styles that elevate your home's look. Plus, it's low maintenance and UV resistant for lasting beauty. With special financing from Thompson Creek, upgrading is easier than ever. Act now and Thompson Creek will install your entire siding project without installation costs. Schedule an in-home or virtual consult today at thompsoncreek.com.
This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. We try and regularly come to you with short business episodes, private equity episodes, interviews with brilliant people. We try and make sure you learn something if we can and that you're entertained some. Today's discussion is the introduction of the Becker Economic Fear Index. And one of the things we talk about regularly is the importance of allocations. And myself, I can be a panicker. And one of my children was chastising me for how much I was panicking about the markets and what was going to happen a few weeks ago. And that's when I started to see sort of the economy slow, lots of signs of potentially slowing in the economy. And in fact, those signs are partly what's led Chairman Powell to lower interest rates. And the son was chastising me, because now a few weeks later, a month later, after me being panicked, the markets have rebounded remarkably well and they're all up. And so I was able to say to my son two different things. First, you were right. I was wrong about that moment of panic. But second, one of the things I talk about all the time is having the proper allocation of equities to bonds to cash, plus the proper emergency fund, so that when you do panic, you don't, in fact, change your positions or sell stocks to get closer to all cash so as to feel safer. Rather, if you have your allocation right to begin with and you have an emergency fund, then you do what you're supposed to do when the market goes up and down, which is essentially do nothing. And in so much of my life, I am a person that runs on tremendous energy. I've had great success from having that tremendous energy, but there are negatives to it. One of the things I have been able to capture is hitting this allocation right. So when I do panic, I don't sell. And we view that as really important to my long-term and our family's long-term financial stability. It's something I wasn't able to do in my 20s. I am able to do a few decades later after a lot of experience and a lot of studying and a lot of learning how to ground into what is this proper allocation of equities to bonds to cash and also having an emergency fund so I don't panic sell. I give my son great credit for reminding me how wrong I was a month ago, but like a clock that's always right twice a day, at some point, I'll be right about the economic downturn, and it might not happen until after we stop deficit spending. We might not do that until we really have to. But one of the things we will be introducing next week in our newsletter is something that's based on proprietary discussions called the Becker Economic Fear Index, which will give a sense of how fearful leaders are about the economy based on the different stats that are out there. So we'll ask you to look for that starting next week in our newsletter, the Becker Economic Fear Index, the proprietary Becker Economic Fear Index. Now, we hope you enjoy it. We hope you find it interesting. We'll probably give readings once a week, depending on our survey data and what we find. But we're looking forward to this. If you have any questions, you want to contribute at any time to the podcast, or you're interested in being a sponsored guest or running a series of sponsored guest episodes, feel free to text Scott Becker, 773-766-5322. If you want a copy of our book that was co-authored with Grace Lynn Keller, our brilliant producer, The Entrepreneur's Edge, How to Grow, Build, and Manage a Business, feel free to text me, 773-766-5322. And if you're the first person to text, we'll send you a hardcover copy of the book for free. We ask you that you ultimately do a review on Amazon of it. And if you can, also buy the Kindle copy, which costs next to zero to buy. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast, and look for allocation and the Becker Economic Fear Index shortly. Thank you very much.